Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing?
Doing well, Jared. How about you? Another day, another ending to an MLB draft, and another All-Star game in the books.
Absolutely. All-Star game, fantastic. Didn't watch it, fantastic still. Celebrity All-Star game's better, fantastic. Let's keep going here. MLB draft, love the MLB draft. No, I'm kidding. I actually didn't watch the All-Star game. I know they won the AL 1-3-2. Giancarlo Stanton won the MVP, fantastic. More stuff for Yankee fans to complain about when they don't win the World Series this year. So, you got anything?
Bold take. We'll see about that. This is the most complete Yankee team they've had in a long time. But let's get to the draft because I know you're excited with what you've seen so far.
I am. I love it. First opinion on this, and you got to ask me again in 4 years how I feel about the draft. I think I said it after day 2 and day 3 last year for the Angels. I'm going to probably say it again. I think the Angels had one of the better day 2s and day 3s in the draft this year. I know they didn't go out and get that dude at the front, but what they are going to get in the back half, I'm fairly impressed with. And I was talking to somebody, again, kind of pretty close to this situation, and he brought it up to me today. So you look at it last year, they go 20-20 at pitching. How many of those guys have to be major leaguers for it to be considered a success, Nate?
I think they're already almost there. You already have one in the bigs. I think really
Four?
I think you're looking at four. Four is probably the magic number, and Kai's on his way there, so that should be 2 without even really diving into this. And Bachman as a first rounder, he's probably going to make it, whether he pitches well or not. He's going to make it, and then you just need one more guy to hit. So I think that's what you got to do in a draft. I think you really have to hit early though. That's the biggest thing is the 1-2 pick they need to hit, and then if you get lucky the rest of the draft, that's kind of how it works. But Absolutely. if you're not hitting on the 1-2 picks, then it's going to be really tough to be successful.
Yeah, and I think the Angels have done a pretty good job of doing that, especially in the last 2 years of hitting on 1 and 2 and 1 and 3 this year. And second part of that question that I was asked was how many of these big hitters, because the Angels did go out and get quite a few big hitters, power guys that got on base a lot. We'll see what that ends up being. How many of those guys have to make it for it to be a success?
I think you need 2 of them.
I said
2 of. I think you need 2, because if you're counting Neto, then that's 1 already.
Not Neto. Okay. Not Neto. Anybody below that, because we're going to talk about it. And the Angels took quite a few of the power.
I just figured when you were talking athletes, hitters, Neto's the first name is going to get brought up because he was the first hitter taken. But yeah, throughout the rest of the draft, I think if the Angels get 2 pitchers and 1 hitter to kind of make it, even 2 pitchers, 2 hitters to make it, then you kind of are having a good draft. I think that's kind of the secret with 20 rounds. You're not going to hit on all 20. You're not even going to sign all 20 most likely. You're hoping to sign 18, 19 if you're really doing it right. But yeah, it's not an easy thing, especially you're looking at some of these high school kids. That's why it's very scary to draft high school kids, because some of these guys have never failed before in their lives, and they're going to go to Tri-City. They're going to go to Tri-City, and they're probably going to fail offensively, or they're going to go to AAA at some point, most likely, and they're probably going to fail on the mound because anything hit in the air is a home run there. So that it's a very tough thing when guys haven't failed before. How are they going to react? And I think you're seeing some of that in the big leagues right now with some guys who aren't used to failing, and they have failed a little bit, and it's kind of been taking them a little bit longer to get over it. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is how do some of these guys deal with failure, especially some of the small school guys. Again, I'm a small school guy. I love small schools, but those guys don't fail as often as some of the bigger school guys.
Yep, absolutely. And this is a perfect segment into this. We said yesterday, if you listen to the draft, that the Angels are probably going to go above slot high school pitcher. Weird. They took him in the 11th round.
Yep, first pick of the day.
Yes, Kaden Dana, right-handed pitcher, 18-year-old, 6'4", 225, reminds guys of Noah Syndergaard out of Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey. If you hear the name Dana again, don't be surprised. You might hear it in the 16th round. I don't know. back on to Kaden Dana here. Yeah, big fastball. It's been up to 95. Probably sits 91, 93, I would assume, because it says consistently up to 95 on the reports, which is pretty good. Curveball, changeup in the works. I would assume in high school you don't have to use it, especially back east, all that much, being from New Jersey. But hey, another New Jersey guy drafted. Gotta love those guys, right? I mean, so
Angels have had success.
Angels have had success with kids from New Jersey for sure. Again, it reminds a lot of people of Noah Syndergaard. Don't quote that on anybody. That's just who he kind of reminds guys of. And I said the same thing. Curveball, hard, good spin rate on it, mid 70s on that guy. So Nate, you got anything on Kaden Dana?
Yeah, big strong kid, low nines, Kentucky commit. So interesting SEC commit, which I like the big schools. As a high school kid, you're only using 2 pitchers. When you throw that hard, like you're not seeing that kind of talent every time out. Maybe you see it once or twice where you have to use 3 pitches, but he's going to have 2 really good pitches right away. He's going to really have to develop that changeup. But yeah, I think it's something he can do. It's probably something that he has a little bit. He just hasn't thrown it enough. And I think that's something that he's really going to work on. Wouldn't be shocked to see him rookie ball low A to start, just kind of really get used to throwing the changeup and everything. So,
yeah, I kind of take the Jack Kachanowicz route with him. I think he's going to be in Arizona at least till the end of this year, probably start next year. Then we see him in IE. But again, a super exciting young arm to see what happens on that side of things. And yeah, it's good to see. The Angels have done this twice now, where they've gone out, kind of gone a little underslot in that first round, then spent some money on a high schooler that falls. I don't know if that's necessarily I don't know if they necessarily know who they're going to take, but I'm sure they got a list of guys who they like. They did Mason Albright last year. I am much happier with the pick this year. Nothing against Mason Albright. I think that's a great pick. I think he's going to be a major leaguer. I think he's a reliever because of the size. But Kaden Dana, man, I'm excited to see what this has. It says Jack Kachanowicz written all over it again. I'm super excited because I love Jack Kachanowicz, by the way.
Yeah, I know it's one of you guys.
Yep, definitely love him. So on to the 12th round. Am I allowed to? Oh, I didn't pick this guy though. But I did like him. I'll say that.
I was gonna say, I know you liked him.
Really liked him out of high school. One of the big arms in the high school draft, I believe in 2018 or 2019. I'm trying to remember.
2019 is when the Angels took him in the 20th round. Yeah, so I would believe it was that year.
Yeah. Again, liked him then. Really did. Was hoping the Angels would sign him. We're not able to sign him. He goes to Texas. Believe got hurt, had a little TJ action, if I'm not mistaken. Still big arm. A lot of people like what they see out of Jared Southard. Southard, I believe is how you say it. Big Texas righty out of Texas, by the way. The University of Texas. Is that right? University of Texas?
Yes, he's a UT guy.
Absolutely.
Big kid. Mm-hmm. Big kid. Again, I think he's got room to grow. Didn't really throw too much at Texas in his 3.5 years, I guess, because 2020 got cut short. But like you mentioned, coming off the arm injury, I think he's got some room to grow. He's gonna learn how to pitch. He's gonna get some opportunities to pitch some more. But he had strikeout stuff, which I think is good to see, especially out of a reliever. Big strikeout numbers for him. So that's exciting to see another stuff guy, because I think that's something the Angels have been lacking. Is stuff guys. They've got a lot of like, hey, I'm gonna finesse my way and just get outs with my control. But you look at the guys that have been successful in the majors the last 1.5 to 2 years. It's the stuff guys. It's the Logan Gilberts, the Sixto Sanchez when he came up. He had really good stuff. And you just look at all these kids who are coming up throwing 97 plus with a stupid slider and a really good splitter or a really good changeup or whatever it is. And it's like the stuff needs to be there. So I love the fact that the Angels went and got another guy with good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about the stuff for sure. 29 third innings pitched, 46 strikeouts, just 19 walks. Fastball's been up to 97. It's going to be 94 to 96. Again, 97 at times from the righty. Big slider, real good slider, good value pick. That was one of the big things that a lot of people were saying about this. You're going to hear good value pick out of a lot of these guys in this second round. I think the Angels again did a fantastic job today. Got a lot of good bullpen pieces, and Perry Minasian has actually built a pretty good amount of depth in the bullpen as well, which is super exciting. So yeah, congratulations, Jared Southard. 12th round pick out of Texas. I'd expect him to sign. So let's go ahead and move on to our 13th pick out of Chipola College. No, it's not Cam Collier, but it's his buddy in the outfield, Tucker Flint. Big, that is quite the baseball name, isn't it?
Yes, nice name.
Yeah, fantastic game there as well. Just working on his stats. I honestly, when you look at it, JC is tough for me. I'll say this, he did bounce back from Maryland. So if you want to, call it that D1 pick, that's fine with me. Had a pretty big year, big arm in the outfield, by the way. I think somebody told me he had 19 outfield assists at Chipola. And again, Chipola just continues to produce guys down there in Florida, one of the best JUCOs in America. He had 21 doubles, 14 home runs, slash 370, 496, 708 total athlete. Does it all really well. Only had 37 strikeouts, 32 walks, stole 12 bases last year at Chipola University, or at Chipola College, not university, but heck, I mean, with the guys they produce, it might as well be a university, huh?
Yep.
So I know you don't have a lot on these position players. Just an athlete.
Players are boring.
Yeah, just an athlete. No, just honestly, like that's going to be the big thing we talk about. Athlete, big athletes too. Angels signed a guy out of UCI last year, Mike Peabody, very similar to what they did this year. So I'm excited to see what this kid does. Kind of a little bit more of a flatter swing, not in love with the swing, but he's going to make some contact. And again, I'm excited to see what Tucker Flint does, because that is quite the baseball name. So. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get on to our 14th pick. I'm going to completely butcher this name. Sabin Caballos, I think is how you say his name. I'm sure it's going to be something different than that. Out of Puerto Rico, actually San Jacinto Community College in Tejas. Catcher from Puerto Rico, absolute athlete. Kid's going to hit, has a cannon coming out of high school, 99 miles an hour at shortstop. Just going to let you know. By the way, he was a shortstop. Bring him back a little bit more, bring it up to this year. They moved him to catcher because of the cannon. It's going to hit a little bit, some good pure power out of Sabin. Nate, I don't know if you have anything else that you –
Just the one question. Do you think I know we talked about this already, but just for the listeners, do you think he sticks at catcher?
It's a good thing. They drafted him as a catcher, so they're going to try out everything in the world to keep him as a catcher. However, I think that – and to even take
outfielder possibly almost like the Bryce Harper-esque, where Bryce was a really good catcher, but they needed to move him to right to keep his legs a little bit more fresh.
I don't know if he hits enough to move him. I think he's just got a cannon, and you look at what this automated strike
goes to the mound.
Yeah, that could definitely be it too, for sure. But again, he's an athlete. He's going to hit a little bit for you. He's got, like I said, freaking cannon. That's the big thing there. I'm excited to see what he does. And he can play all over the diamond too. That's kind of a cool thing. Just a kind of a really good athlete, good value pick out of Chipola College there. Another JC guy. So on to our 15th round pick.
San Jacinto College.
San Juanito. I didn't say Chipola the time before.
Yeah, we're good.
So on to our 15th round pick here. Am I allowed to say I called this one?
Go ahead.
All right, I called this one. Bryce Osmond. I love the kid. This is going to sound weird, but I've really liked him ever since he came out of high school. He's had some command issues, I believe some injury issues as well. But again, out of Oklahoma State, by the way, third Oklahoma State pitcher drafted by the Angels this year. Bryce Osmond. Nate, go ahead and take it away. I know you like to talk about pitchers.
Yeah, it looks like he had a good year. Oklahoma State had a really good year on the mound. They went into the regionals against Arkansas, and that series got absolutely nuts. I think it was like 18 runs scored, 15 runs scored. But for what he did this year, he was able to go 60 innings, which is a pretty good outing. It feels like they were kind of monitoring his innings rather than just letting him go, because I think really at one of those schools you're looking at like 80 plus innings as like a normal year for a guy who's just letting it eat. Guys going 6, 7, 8 innings. Big strikeout numbers, 77 and 60 innings pitched, which is huge. You did mention the command issues a little bit, 31 walks in 60 innings. So that could be something to take a look at. But if he can keep that command, he has a chance to be a starter.
Yeah, absolutely. All the upside in the world of a starter for sure. Really, you know what this pick reminds me of? The Braden Olthoff pick from last
Yep.
year. Good value junior out of Oklahoma State. Again, actually, are they from the same conference? Is Tulsa playing the same conference? No, no, they don't. Tulsa's a little bit more of a smaller.
Yep.
But pretty cool. Regardless, I'm glad the Angels picked Osmond. He's been on my radar ever since he's coming out of high school. One of the best pitchers, I believe, in Oklahoma, though he could be a Georgia kid, to be honest. I can't remember off the top of my head who I'm thinking of, but yeah, really like the Osmond pick here.
He's born in Tulsa.
Is he? Okay, good.
Yeah,
he was one of the best kids out of in Oklahoma.
Jenks High School in Jenks, Oklahoma.
Yep.
Nationals took him 35th round in 2019, so another redraft guy for the Angels.
Yep. Yeah, I really like Osmond. Like I said, I can't say enough. I'm excited. This is one of the guys one of the more excited guys I'm excited to see. Well, I can't talk because I'm so excited, but this might be a guy that you see go right into Tri-City, and we might see him in Double-A next year, and we could be talking about bringing him up when it's all said and done. So I'm excited to see Bryce Osmond pitch. I don't mean to hype it up, but yeah. So on to the 16th round, I told you guys we wouldn't be forgetting about a certain name, Kaden Dana. Yes, if that sounds familiar, that is Kaden Dana's brother out of UConn here, taken in the 16th round. Had a fantastic, really, really good year at UConn. Transfer student, by the way, I believe as well. Let me get to that. I'll get to that here in a second if he was or wasn't. But I believe he was a transfer student. Yeah, he was. He slashed 313, 381, 547, 12 home runs, 21 doubles. Good outfielder. Guy's just an athlete. You look at how big he is. Whew, that's gonna be a fun one. 6'4", 215. Again, like I said, reminds me of Mike Peabody. Mike Peabody, it's gonna remind me those position players are gonna remind me a lot of Mike Peabody, especially if they're outfielders, only because I know who Mike Peabody is, and I actually good guy down in Tri-City right now. So
yeah, grad transfer from Seton Hall. UConn, people might think small conference and things like that, but UConn had a really, really good year this year. Made it all the way to the Supers, played Stanford really, really tough, took them to Game 3. And you saw another UConn guy go in the first round a two-way. So UConn had a lot of guys drafted this year, and I think I really like what they're doing with their program. So interesting, possible brother connection, which would be nice to have that as well. And just an opportunity for him to grow and get better. I mean, he had a really, really good year, 12 bombs and hit over 300. So we'll see. At this point, 16th round, you're just hoping that anybody hits,
Yeah, no, but I mean, definitely taking a guy like this after taking your brother coming out of high school definitely makes it feel like the Angels are going to be able to sign Kaden Dana and as well as Casey Dana. And I'm excited to see what they both bring to the table. So on to our next pick here. I'm going to, again, butcher this as well. Left-handed pitcher out of New Mexico State, 6'4", 195, coming out as a junior, said left-handed pitcher. Sammy Natera Jr. He's actually out of Mexico. Big lefty, sweeping slider, fastballs, has been in the mid-90s at times, probably going to sit in that mid to lower quadrant. That makes sense in the 90s, but big power arm, lacks command in a sense a little bit, which is why he kind of fell. But I mean, getting 95 and 96 out of a lefty is kind of interesting for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to most of the pitchers we've talked about in this draft, a high velo and a relief pitcher most likely. So he might he had a high walk rate at New Mexico State. New Mexico State shocked everyone this year and ended up winning a conference tournament, making it to a regional. But I mean, when you throw that hard, if you can figure out how to get it near the zone, you can be successful, especially as a reliever. We've seen that in the past where guys don't really know where it's going out of the pen, but as long as they're able to make it near the zone, they've been successful. So potential steal in this late rounds, but also, again, when you're looking at 17, it's honestly like 12 to 20 round. You're just kind of hoping that one of these guys hits. It's not a guarantee like the first or second, maybe even the third round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always a fan of going, these high upside pitchers later on, especially, with a power fastball and you're hoping to get a reliever out of them. because those guys a lot of times do end up being major leaguers, especially if you can find command, which the Angels have done a very, very good job of doing. So on to the 18th round pick here, right-handed pitcher, 6'5", 230, super big kid again, out of Boston College. Matt Gidge, I believe is how you say it, working on that name as well. Big kid, probably going to be a multi-inning reliever from what I'm seeing in the Cape here. Shout out to Jeff Pontus, who filmed some video at Baseball America. Fastball is 95, 96. Good run. We'll also throw in a tight slider. Real good tight late slider, by the way, too. Nothing crazy, and really good fastball. They're going to pair well off of each other. This is, again, a guy who I wouldn't be surprised that started in Tri-City as a reliever and really worked his way up really quickly moving forward. So he has also got a changeup in the mix. I've seen it float in there a couple times, so I'm not a huge fan of it, but it could definitely work. Nate, did I lose you? Or are you still there?
No, I'm still here, Max. Draft eligible sophomore, which is going to be interesting. That's going to be a little bit tougher to sign, I think. This could be one guy that the Angels might not sign. They could, but drafting a sophomore in the 17th round, high upside guy. The money's probably going to have to be there for this guy. I'm sure Boston College is hoping that they get this guy back, especially when you're throwing mid-nines with playing in the Cape. So I'm assuming that Boston College is talking to this kid saying, I don't know, maybe you come back and you get a shot to start, because like we talked about, he has been a big multi-inning reliever. He did get 7 starts this year in 15 appearances. So maybe he gets into that weekend rotation and he shoots up draft boards, and instead of going 17th round, maybe he goes in the top 10 rounds. So this is going to be one of the harder guys for the Angels to sign, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you look at all the underslot they've done. I think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to be able to go 19 of 19, but we'll have to wait and see. So let's get on to our 19th round pick out of Xavier University. Outfielder. This is going to be a senior, so this should be a fairly easy sign. 6'2", 220. Freaking athlete. Performance-based. Power. His name's Luke Franzoni. Pizza. That's the first thing that came to mind, by the way, was pizza, by the way. So when you look at his 2022 campaign, they're at Xavier. Small school, not too worried about it. 354, 485, 821 with 29 bombs, 12 doubles last year. I think did he lead D1 baseball in home runs?
How many do you have? 20 what?
29.
29.
Might have been 30-something, by the way.
No, Melendez.
Oh, Melendez led. That's right. Number 2
hit 35.
Yeah. 29 in a season is still damn ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous. But what Melendez is doing, what Melendez did at Texas is just unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, power, performance, athlete, big guy, This is a huge trend that the Angels have. I don't think they drafted a position player that was really under 6 foot. I mean, if you count Dylan Phillips, the two-way, he was 6 foot, and nobody was really under 190, 210, I think, going all the way up to Sonny, who's about 280. Absolutely love the guy. So
265. Don't
265.
Don't
okay. That's fine. Nate, you want to say anything about Lou Franzoni?
No, go ahead. I just, again, another outfield guy, athletic. I know that's the big deal with what you like to draft in these things. You want to draft the athletic guys with upside, and anytime you draft an athletic guy, he can always turn into a 4th outfielder at best or at worst, right? You get a guy who can play all 3 outfield spots and just hit a little bit. So interesting 19th round pick.
Yep, absolutely. And final pick for the Angels, 20th rounder out of Wake Forest, catcher, 6'2", 225, big kid again, athletic, power-based performance in 2022. Brennan Tinsman. You want to talk about having a fantastic season. Batted .355 with 24 bombs and 15 doubles. Just a fantastic season. I don't have very many defensive stats on him, so I don't want to throw it out there quite yet, but I believe he does have a fairly good arm and isn't too bad behind the plate. I'm a fan of what Wake Forest does, by the way. They kind of a pitching lab there. If y'all know if you heard of that before, but I think they kind of know what they're doing there with the development side of things. So I'm very interested to see what Tinsman does.
Interesting part about Tinsman, it looks like he's played the outfield, the corner outfield as well. So
Got the power to do it.
Yeah, he absolutely raked this year. The one disclaimer I'm going to put on there is Wake Forest does play in a small yard. So you got to rake wherever you're at. So more power to him. He hit 24 bombs. He hit over 330 or whatever it was, 355. But yeah, Wake Forest does play in a small yard. But ACC conference, you got to face some dudes. You're going to face a North Carolina dude. You're going to face a Florida State dude, a Clemson dude. So the fact that he saw good competition, was able to put up those numbers is very impressive. So very good late round pick.
Absolutely. So you guys were not keeping track. I kept track for you here. 19 picks, 15 four-year D1 guys, 3 JC, 1 high schooler, 8 righties, 8 right-handed pitchers, 1 left-handed pitcher, 2 catchers, 3 infielders, 4 outfielders, 1 two-way player, 15 guys taken from the United States, 1 from Mexico, 1 from Puerto Rico, 1 from Cuba, and 1 from Canada. Fantastic. I thought the Angels did a really good draft. Nate, before we let everybody go ahead and grade it for me. How'd the Angels do?
The only reason I'm going to go B- is because I still think the Angels need to get a starting pitcher, like a starting pitcher in a draft. They got Kyle Busch last year. Still Seth is borderline. I just want them to go get a bona fide starting pitcher, and I think that's something they've missed on. And I think that's the hardest thing for this organization to get. We've seen over the years multiple big name starting pitchers be free agents, and the Angels fall short to get all of them. So I don't know if that's just a philosophy thing or what it is, but B- for me.
That's fine. I'm going to give it a flat B just because, as you guys can tell, I like what the Angels did. They went strong physical hitters that are going to be able to hit balls out of the yard, make contact as well, get on base. Big thing is going to be on-base percentage, I believe, in a lot of this stuff. You look at, I think a lot of these guys led D1 baseball in OPS, which is pretty cool as well. And then on the pitching side of things, they picked a lot of guys that I liked, starting with Ben Joyce, working your way down to Medeiros. I really like him. And I don't think I've said enough about Bryce Osmond and the high schooler who I'm blanking on it, Kaden Dana. Dana. I'm just excited to see. I think they go 19 of 19 on the signing. You do bring up a good point with Gidge. Gidge, I don't know how to say his last name, but we'll figure it out. We'll try to get on any of these guys as followed, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Be prepared for another draft recap, by the way. We'll see if we can get Mr. Taylor Blake Ward on to talk a little bit of Angels draft.
World famous
Taylor Blake Ward. And of course, on Friday, I believe we're going to try to get our first half coverage, first half breakdown of the Angels season rolling for you guys. So
first half recap and second half preview.
Absolutely. Thank you for making me sound like an idiot. I'm just kidding. No, you know me.
I know what he's saying, so I just had to clean it up a little bit.
You did. I'm not very good at it. So, guys, as always, I want to thank you all so much for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos, making us the best Angels podcast out there. Thank you so much. Again, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and pound that subscribe button. You can follow us on all of our social medias. You can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Tims. Follow Nate on Twitter at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.